On May 4th, 1987, the Supreme Court of the United States decided the case of Rotary International versus the Rotary Club of Duarte, California. In that case, the court decided that the Rotary Club was a public accommodation within the meaning of California's human rights statute, and as a result, it must admit women to membership. Now, in years of practicing law, I knew that you didn't bring a case all the way to the United States Supreme Court without incurring legal expenses well into the six figures. And people obviously asked, why in the world would the Rotary Club of Duarte, California spend six figures worth of attorney's fees, bankrupt itself, all for the purpose of keeping women out of membership? I knew the answer. And this speech is about the answer to that question. The year is 1967. I am a sophomore in college, and I'm a member of the University of Minnesota debate team. Now, college debates usually take place in a college classroom with nobody seeing the debate except the judge and the timekeeper. However, the city of Detroit, Michigan had a program where the college debates would take place in front of audiences all over the city of Detroit. And I got to participate in a debate in front of the Detroit Rotary Club. I can tell you right now, I have absolutely no memory whatsoever about what happened in the debate. But I could never forget what happened in the Rotary Club. It was their lunch meeting. Everybody gathered for lunch. And the MC got up and said, "Do we have any guests here?" Kind of like we did today. And if you had a guest, you'd say, "This is my guest, George Kane." And every member of the Rotary in unison would go, "Hi, George." And then they had a little song, never too busy to say, "Hello, hello, hello, hello." And everyone did that with every guest on the premises. Then lunch gets served. And as people are eating lunch, they had a guy dressed up in a clown suit. And he had a bucket in his left hand and a bell in his right hand. And he'd go all around the lunch tables until he saw somebody committing a social faux pas, like putting elbows on the table or eating with his fingers. And he'd get behind the person, ring the bell right in his ear. Then that person would have to introduce himself, confess his social faux pas, and then put money in the clown's bucket and run around the table and sit back down. And this guy went around to every single table at the place doing that, trying to make sure to embarrass at least one person in every table in the room. After lunch was done, they said, "Now it's time for the song committee." And they brought together 4 or 5 people who were the song committee, and they led all of the Rotarian songs. And the songs were indistinguishable from what you might hear around the campfire at a Boy Scout camp, until it came to the very end, when every single member of the Rotary Club stood up at attention, put his hand over his heart, got kind of misty-eyed, and sung "O Rotary" to the tune of O Tannenbaum. My debate partner and I, immediately after that, concluded that the Detroit Rotary Club was a bunch of middle-aged men who never outgrew being Cub Scouts. And that experience taught me exactly why the Duarte Rotary Club went all the way to the United States Supreme Court to keep women out of membership. Because I clearly concluded that there wasn't a person at that Rotary Club who wouldn't have been embarrassed beyond belief to have engaged in those juvenile antics in front of his wife or girlfriend. That lawsuit was about preserving Rotary Club culture. Well, and I'm sorry Heather isn't here because she's the only one here who goes to Rotary Club. But I've been advised by multiple people who go to Rotary Club that notwithstanding the fact that they made women members, the Rotary Club still engages in the same juvenile antics as they did back in 1967. I learned one last thing from my Rotary Club experience, and that is the importance of audience analysis. In addition to being on the debate team, I was on a program at the University of Minnesota called the Panel of Americans. And this was a program run by the Human Relations Department at the university, and they had student volunteers. On every panel, there'd be a Protestant, a Catholic, a Jew, somebody from a minority religion, and I was the token Unitarian Universalist. And then an ethnic minority, an African American, Native American, and they talk to various audiences about what it's like to be an American from your religious or ethnic standpoint. And the first week after going to the Detroit Rotary Club, the Panel of Americans spoke at the Sigma Nu fraternity, or so sorority, the Sigma Nu sorority on the university campus. And the program is we go have supper and then we present the Panel of Americans program. During supper, I thought to myself, I'm going to entertain these sorority girls with some really funny stories. And I started telling them all my Rotary Club stories, and nobody was laughing. Nobody was amused. And after supper was over, the person in charge says, now it's time for the song committee. And they all got together, put their hands over their hearts, and sang "O Sigma Nu" to the tune of "O Tana." The moral of the story is, it's okay to ridicule the Rotary Club, just be careful about the audience to whom you do it.
Thank you, Randall.